we're doing a very small batch, right? Just 6 eggs, nothing crazy. When I worked in Lake Louise, we used to do a lot. There was a lot of tool business. So sometimes you'd be cracking close to 150 eggs. So you can imagine, there you are, right? 149th egg, you break it open, and the shell goes in. 150 eggs in that bowl, and you've got to try and fish out that little piece of shell. So, what I would suggest is use 2 bowls. Maybe break 3 and then put them, transfer them into a different bowl. That way, you can control it. If you have some not compost, save the planet. Get a compost, right? Okay, so that there. Usually I get myself one of those nice wooden tables, but I need to sacrifice. This maybe 18. Most classes are just 16. But this is nice, I like it. This is actually a donut fryer. Now it's my go-to. One uses. Okay, so that's my 6 eggs. Make sure no shells inside. Now, what happens if we just put this in a mixing bowl and start whipping it up? What do you think is going to happen? Is it going to work?
Yes.
It's going to work. It is going to work. It's not a trick question. It's going to work. It'll just take more time. Because eggs get maximum volume when they are warm. Okay? Once if they're cold, especially if they come from the fridge, there's going to be a lot of mixing involved. The reason why that's important too is because more mixing means you pay more utilities. Your mixer is running longer. You're paying someone more time because it's taking that much food. So the best way to do it is to get a water bath or a basement leaf, which is often called, and you just heat those up. We're going to take them up to about 45 degrees Celsius. If you have a thermometer, you can use it. If not, I'll show you a technique where you can heat it up just by feeding it to, which we have. So get this up to 45 degrees, we then transfer it into the mixing bowl with the whisk attachment, and then we start. So that's kind of it. So get this one going. Now, I've got plenty of inductions there, but I don't think there's going to be enough. So some of you are probably going to have to work on the skill. If you are doing that, don't put the cloth, because it's going to work. On inductions, but not really use it. So stick that up there. Grab the whisk, and you're just going to start. One of those, these are great. If you haven't picked one up yet, you use them pretty much, second year in all the classes because we do sugar, we do chocolate, and this is great for it. So I don't know. Keep an eye out in Indian Tire. It usually comes on discount for about $20 or so. Yeah, good time to buy that. Okay, so I just started off with those eggs and just gradually mix them. The next thing I'm going to do is add my sugar into it. Right, it doesn't matter, it doesn't need to be warm yet, but we're just going to add the granulated sugar in there, and then I'm going to start mixing it. Now, why do you think we're using granulated sugar and not icing sugar? Jose, tell me.
Yes, because we wanted to spread.
We wanted to spread to cornstarch. Yeah, icing sugar has cornstarch in it, right? That's what keeps it free flowing. If you were to add icing sugar in your cakes, you will notice they get much drier. Okay? So try and avoid icing sugar. Also, icing sugar is a lot more expensive than granulated sugar. So if you're doing bulk production in a business where money matters, right, those little pennies that you can save, definitely must save. So granulated sugar is the best choice. What happens if you do brown sugar?
Different color, different flavor.
Yeah, right. Definitely the color. Also, when you do brown sugar, the color, yeah, it's not really nice and white or yellowish. it does get a little which is not very pleasant. It also spreads more. So you will notice when you make a cake with brown sugar, right, it's going to be really thin. Even though you might have, put a good amount of batter in there, by the time it spreads, it's really good. So that's what you want to try and avoid. So yes, this is a little bit of a chore. You just have to stand there and just keep whisking it, waiting for something to happen. It's at 21 degrees right now, so it's barely reached room temperature. You have to take it up to 3 degrees. So it's gonna take a little while, but I think we did it. Now, key pointers when you're doing, when you're trying to warm up your eggs on a water bath, don't leave them and walk away. I mean, you know what? Let's go have a coffee, come back. 15 minutes later, it should be ready. Because the egg will coagulate. Trivia question: what temperature does egg coagulate at?
60 something.
What's that?
64, 67?
64 is wrong.
67.
60, too low.
67.
67, too low.
What?
Nothing will happen at 67. You're making a creme anglaise. You made a creme anglaise? In one of the classes? Pastry cream?
Yeah, pastry, yeah.
Pastry cream, yes. You didn't make creme anglaise?
No.
That's fine. Lemon curd? No, lemon curd either. I'm trying to think what else. You probably do in second. Anyways, so the answer to that question is you're going to ask them, which country are you asking me about? Because the coagulation temperature everywhere you work differs. The Canadian, I shouldn't say the law, but the Canadian textbook, the drizzler that we follow, puts it at 76 degrees. 76. But the one thing you will notice, when you cook your custard at 76 degrees, it's not yet thick enough. Right? When I worked in the Middle East, our temperature was at 82 degrees. At 82 degrees, it's a lot firmer, a lot thicker, more sauce consistency. Okay? So the range is usually between, I would say, if you're making in North America, best to give a range and say, between 75 and 82 degrees is where you want it to be. 85 degrees, your egg now begins to cook. So at 85, you're going to get scrambled eggs. Okay? So there's a small little margin there for you to work with, but really good to have that information. What are we looking at? The temperature, yes, to 18 centimeters. Higher. Okay. Now, if you don't have a KitchenAid at home and you're making this recipe at home, you might as well find a friend to help you with it because it's a lot of whipping. Right? That's one of the challenges with egg foam cakes. Right? Egg foam cakes, as we spoke about, one thing you will notice, they have no leavener, no baking powder, no baking soda in there, ever. Because the volume is all based on your whipping. When you look on the other side, all your high-fat cakes have either baking powder or baking soda in there. They will have a chemical there, and that is what is in there. So, if you don't have a KitchenAid at home and you can't whip, I would suggest maybe high-fat cakes is a better option for you. The other thing that would help you determine what kind of a cake to use. Let's say you get into the cake business, some of you being cake decorators, right? Culturally, it makes a big difference. Like growing up, I always ate the cakes with egg foam. Like it was always sponge cakes. You go to most Asian countries, like it's small sponge cakes. It's like really soft. You move to North America, it's all high-fat cakes. Like rarely will you see foam cakes. Part of the reason also is because the filling on the inside is going to determine what kind of a cake you use. If you use an egg foam cake, but put a buttercream filling on the inside, the buttercream is going to be too heavy and it's going to squish that egg foam cake down. So if you make a wedding cake, let's say you make a 3-tiered wedding cake with egg foam sponge, layered with buttercream, your bottom layer is going to tend to go. So if you have a buttercream filling, you need a high-fat cake. Right? That's going to be strong enough for you to do it. If you're doing a chantilly, pastry cream or fruit filling, make foam cakes much better. Alrighty, let me stand. 40 degrees, so very close. Maybe 3 more minutes, and I think it should be good.
So we're looking at what, 45?
45, yes. Now, if you don't have a thermometer, one of the ways to tell is if you touch that, you shouldn't feel any sugar granules. It should be smooth. So the sugar would have to dissolve, and that's an indication you met that temperature. Okay? I can still feel a few, but it's close. At about 40, 42 degrees, the sugar usually dissolves. Right? And then it's good to go. Okay, here we go. Right. 48, so that's good. Now, before you pour it in, just make sure you wipe that bowl because, again, water is a big enemy to eggs. If you have water in there, otherwise, the foam's not going to rise. So, one thing you want to be conscious of. So, put it in there. Also, yeah, if you're looking to buy one, I think these were on sale at Costco. I saw them for like $2.75 maybe, which is a good deal. KitchenAid, yes, the KitchenAids. Yeah, I would recommend buy the KitchenAid. They'll last you a lifetime if you take care of it. The Cuisinart brand, it's cheaper, but they don't really last. They break down. And with these machines, is once they break down, don't worry about fixing it. You better throw it away and just buy a new one because it's way too expensive. These ones Glow that you see, these are a more industrial version. So these are about $1,200 a piece, so much more expensive compared to the KitchenAids. Okay, so we're gonna go super high, so speed 8 to start off, and then now it's at 9. I'll fluctuate it between 9 and 10. If I feel this batter is enough, like there's not a lot of eggs in there, so even speed 10 is gonna be okay. But if you've got a more quantity at home or at work, if you're making, maybe gradually increase the speed, otherwise it's just going to splatter everything. Okay? So, a couple of things you want to see when you feel the side of the bowl, it should feel slightly warm but not hot. Right? So, and what you will now begin to notice is gradually those eggs are going to rise. Okay? What you're looking for is, right now it's more like a mustard yellow color. Right, it's going to turn into a lighter yellow. Because as air is incorporated into it, the color gets lighter. So that's about 10 minutes average, right? So call me over if you're doubtful, but as soon as mine is done, I'll call you back and I can show you what that looks like. That's also the time when we add the flour in and pan them and bake them. You'll then go back to your stations, you do the same. Okay? Yes, Robert. Questions?
So